Hey YouTube, continuing on with BC Rich Week. This is one of the cool headstocks where it kind of says BC Rich on it. NJ series because it's Nagoya, Japan. This is a through neck one. The wave is a funny one. I'd never seen one before. I saw this and I actually bought a DiMarzio Super Distortion pickup off a guy in Stirling for a good price. I think it could have actually been from this guitar, and this was sitting in his corner, in the corner of his house. And it had a big massive metal handmade plate that covered the whole guitar on it, and as soon as I saw it, it was just like pure, it's a BC Rich. Just from the shape, even though I've never seen a wave before. I think it's not a popular shape. The Blacktooth Fox was saying that the guy in Tom Ira, whatever it is, the bass player from Slayer, used to play a bass version of one. Normally, like the bitch, the NJ series are slightly different. Normally there's a wee barb on a few wee bits of this, so this is smooth. There's normally on other waves you see there's a wee lumpy bit kind of in a couple of places round about it. This is a very nice guitar. They're all very nice guitars, the BC Riches I've got. This one came, as I said, had a metal plate in the top. It didn't have any pickups, although I do think that the Super Distortion, the white Super Distortion I've got, it's in my Westtone Clipper, might have been in this guitar, but I don't think it would have been original. The pickups I managed to find on this, again by total fluke. I was talking yesterday about the Mockingbird, how it's got the BC Rich pickups, the two original ones, and I managed to find a third one on eBay. I just happened to find two of the exact same pickups about a couple of weeks after I bought this. These are not the normal BC Rich ones, because these are like hex poles. It's like a DiMarzio Distortion type thing, and it says BC Rich in the middle, not at the bottom right hand corner, whatever that stands for. So these pickups are maybe a little bit later, because I'd really just recently found out that guitar's like a 92, 93, something like that, so that might be when these pickups are from, whereas the guitar itself is, the serial number is a tokai number apparently, R7041, which apparently puts it at 82 or 83, so kind of the same time as the bitch, but I think it's a different factory. I think they maybe used one factory to make the sort of cheaper bolt-on ones, and then another factory to make more expensive the neck-through models. This one had remnants of a collar, or like a hole from a collar. A collar's an absolute pig. It didn't actually have the collar. I don't like collars, but and I've just bought a guitar with one in it. But it's not easy to cover up the hole. So what I did was I stuck on this Washburn Wonder Bar, which I should really do a video on itself. It is a bit of an engineering marvel. So the point about the Wonder Bar is it's kind of not that dissimilar to a collar actually, but you don't need to route the guitar for it at all. This was meant to be the next big thing. You see the adverts for the Wonder Bar in old guitar magazines, and it's like, look out Mr. Collar and Mr. Rose, your time is up, or something like that, because you could basically, this is like 4 screw holes, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top of your guitar. That's it, no routing needed. Now obviously you can get the Les Trem, it's called, the thing, you know, so maybe not like this, but more sort of Bigsby things that actually attach to the string, to your tunematic post, and don't put holes in the guitar. This does put holes in the guitar. I'm using it to hide a big massive hole. That's why there's extra screw holes that have been filled in, because it had this big metal plate on it, which was to hide the collar route, and also the fact that there was lots of holes being drilled in it, because that's actually the output jack there, and there was so many holes in the guitar I had to do something with it without going too silly. So I've got like a volume and a tone, I've got a 3-way switch. These are coil splits, so this one coil splits the neck pickup, this one coil splits the bridge pickup, and this is a Veritone. It's an Artec Veritone I bought, basically just. You can make Veritones, you know, you buy your 6-way switch or whatever, and you solder on all the different caps. This thing's just like got a wee circuit board with all the caps built into it, and it was dead easy to fit. It's just like an in and an out, and that's it. So it's got a Veritone in it, which is completely pointless. Don't think I'll ever really use it. Might be quite good to do a demo with this using the wee PV amp, because it doesn't have any. It's only got like a gain, a tone, and a volume on it, whereas this would maybe be a bit more. You'd be able to adjust things a little bit more. So this is the neck pickup in single coil. I'll play through my wee Laney again with the 3x12 cabinet. This is bridge, single as well. Just gonna have a wee look and see which coils I managed to. Did it again? Oh no, that's right. Yeah, ideally if I'm splitting buckers, I want to hear the neck most of the neck position and the neck most of the bridge position, because that's maybe a little bit bright, a little bit thin. This one is doing the neck position, which is nice. Then in the middle, where the sound which I use most on most guitars, which I'm actually thinking of putting into the Mockingbird just for using live. I like the Fender Duosonic or Telecaster middle position type sounds. So this is the baritone off bypass. One. Next one. Last one. A bit of distortion, see, and leaving the baritone on. So basically the baritones is just like putting different thicknesses of pillow in front of the speaker, really, isn't it? Brighter. Again. Again. And then off. Let's back up. Let's back up one buckler. baritone all the way on. I guess good for jazz, maybe? Yeah. Single coil. Single coil. Close! The map clusters up sounding. Not quite as much distortion as fuzz as that. This one, as I said, it had a collar on it at some point. I just put a normal nut on it though. So although this is a locking thing with fine tuners, none of those things are in any use. It seems fine. I should probably do a video separately in the Wonder Bar. I've kind of talked about it. Sometimes this one says at the back it was called The Answer at one point as well, and it says Washburn 2001 on the top. It doesn't actually say Wonder Bar on it, but that is what they called it. It's not ideal for this guitar, I don't think. Still, the thing is, it's quite heavy, like the bridge, and it's actually quite comfy to play on. There's lots of the bits that you rest your hand on are all quite rollery. I'm trying to show you the detail of how it works here. Yeah, so the springs are all located. This is actually sitting on a metal plate to try and bring it up, and these saddles they're too high for me. I want to put another metal plate in below to raise it up a bit more, because this isn't because it's a through neck. I can't adjust the neck angle. So you can see it working there. This bit bends and pulls these strings under these rollers, and then there's rollers on the top of the thingies as well. And you can actually see quite a bit of down bend and up bend on it. And I could maybe have a wee go and see if I can make that a little bit less rusty, perhaps. I'm not sure what metal polish will do to it. Kind of don't want it to just take off the chrome, which I think it might. But I'll see what happens. Yeah, so I do quite fancy a wave bass. To be honest, I do need a BC Rich bass in my collection. ideally an NJ one, and ideally not, I suppose, a Wave, a Mockingbird, or a Bitch. But I've just got to wait until one pops up. And the prices of them seem to be going up like mad. I mean, I think this is probably a really expensive guitar now. I didn't pay a lot for it, but it did have its issues. No, but it plays fine. The only problem is it's the paint's a bit gone on it and stuff like that. And I mean, it plays really well. I have actually had this one in the studio before. It wasn't amazing. I don't know. You never really know. Sometimes you take a guitar at the studio, and it's maybe a different room, so maybe it's like a different amp. It's the same. I'm playing through the Sovtech anyway, but it's like maybe a different amp, or maybe the drum kit's not as good in that room or something, which happens quite a lot. Sometimes you go, you know, it's like, we're not really sounding very good tonight, lads, and the drummer's like, this drum kit's rubbish, I hate this room, and it's like that sort of thing can just, the drummer's not happy, not playing as well, therefore what you're playing yourself doesn't sound as good because the rest of the band aren't quite, you know, there's something not quite right. I think that might have happened with this. It wasn't bad. I just don't remember it sticking out as being particularly good, because I do remember the Bitch being like pure, whoa, this is fantastic. But that might have just been, everyone was in a good mood. I was maybe playing better that day or something. I don't know. I do feel this is a little bit too much bells and whistles for me, but I mean, you can just ignore them. I was just trying to find something to do with the holes that were already drilled in the guitar. The Varitone's just, it's not for me, it's completely pointless. Luckily, it does have a bypass, so if you've got it fully up, it's not doing anything, but maybe there might be positions where you really want that, maybe playing jazz or something, but it's like one of the things, you know, a guitar like this, you're expecting it to play pretty extreme metal. I don't know. I think it's an amazing shape. I wish it would make more of them. It's one of my favourite BC Rich shapes. It's my favourite BC Rich shape, I think. This one, especially in the bass, just because the bass is much bigger. But I mean, just like a big pointless scoopy bit in there, that's great. You know, it means you can sort of hook it on your belt or something. I don't know what the purpose in that would be. And it's got really, really good high fret access. I mean, you know, you can get right above the pickup, no problem at all. Just with the sort of scooped neck joint on it. Oh, metal cover as well. It's like proper expensive stuff. Cost more money to have a metal cover. I meant to complain about that. I didn't. I was doing an Gibson SG special. I put P90 humbucker size P90s in it. And see, the thing about modern Gibsons, like, I mean, that was maybe not the most expensive one, but you do. It's the same with a Les Paul traditional. Like, you know, it's like a $2,000 guitar, and see the back plate. It's made of the plastic the old Ford car dashboards are made of. You know, you can kind of with your finger, and really, I mean, having a metal one's obviously the best, or wood is the best. You know, like the Washburns have got like an actual book matched, a matched piece of wood covering. Then you get a metal one, and then you get a plain black plastic one, and then you get this horrible. It just feels really cheap. It's not doing anything. It's doing stop dirt getting into the guitar, but I really don't like that on modern Gibsons. This sort of textured backplate, just cheap and nasty and horrible. I'm sure you can buy one or make one that's made of metal or wood or something. It's on the back of the guitar. No one ever sees it. It's only when you go. It's just like yuck. Yeah. So they're my BC Riches. Every one of them I'm having to do work to. What was that decided I was going to have to do to this? This one still needs polish because of a painting mishap, which I've managed to do this video without really talking about. So I need to polish this up a bit. I'm relatively happy with the way the wiring goes. Having the two coil splits, a volume and a tone switch, that's fine. So I'm kind of. Oh, I'd like to put a thicker metal plate in below the Wonder Bar to bring it up so that these saddles aren't quite so high off the body. I mean, it works fine. I just feel I don't like the saddles being up on the wee grub screws as much as they are. I would much rather, you know, just like another couple of mil up would mean that those wee grub screws weren't quite as extended, which is really not bad. And then that's getting coil splits put in it because, and then this one is getting the coil splits switched round to operate the other coils. And what was the other thing? I was going to get two coil splits rather than a dual coil split and something I put in to use up another push-pull pot. Which didn't need. Kind of, I'm not really one for phasey sounds and stuff like that very much. But these three all play amazing. My BC Rich trio are the reason I've still got them. They kind of don't really fit in with, well, they sort of do fit in with the rest of my collection because they're 80s and Japanese, so they fit in from that respect. But I like them just because BC Riches are just, they've got a look all of their own. My pal Ian was round the other day saying it's like he was talking about amps, saying there's only like 4 amps you can get. There's like the Vox, there's a Fender and a Marshall, and I can't remember what the other one was. Orange are the 4 main amps, and every other amp you get's kind of loosely based on one of those 4, which is sort of true. And I was like, yeah, it's the same with guitars. And then obviously he was standing there and I was like, well, apart from obviously BC Rich, I've just got, you just get BC Rich shape. Doesn't matter whether it's this one or that one or that one or a Wave or a War Beast or a Warlock or whatever. BC Rich have their own distinct category. This ain't no Stratocaster or Les Paul or you know, when you get a guitar and you go, alright, what kind of guitar is it? It's obviously got to be based on one of the big 6 or whatever it is. So Strats, Tellys, I suppose, did you go as far as like a Geosonic? Maybe. Les Pauls, 335s, SGs, Explorer, Firebird, and everything is kind of one of them. So that, like, well, that is an SG. That's a bit of everything, really. Oops, ran out of space. I was just rabbiting on anyway, so the video would kind of ended. If I had a timer, I would have ran out. So basically just saying that, yeah, it's BC Rich don't fit into the category of looking like other guitars. It's not really a Strat or a Les Paul or a anything. It's a BC Rich. So keep rocking. If anyone's got an NJ series, like a Japanese, what would I'd look at a Seagull, an Eagle, a Warlock. I'm not sure when the Warlocks came out. I think Warlock might be right on the edge of being able to get a Japanese one. There is a Warlock I do like, which I talked about in my pal Cameron's video. It's a exotic series. There's a through neck single pickup. It's got the bitch headstock backwards. Quite fancy one of them. That might be my Warlock. I've not found my Warlock yet. I've had half a dozen Warlocks and none of them have been this level. I would argue that the bitch isn't. Well, these two are both bolt-on, so they're cheaper guitars than this, but they are of this level. It's kind of like that thing where it's like you're better off getting a through neck or a set neck, because that guitar was likely more expensive, so it was likely more time was spent on it and more money was spent on pickups and finishing it because it was more expensive. The actual putting a bolt neck against a set neck against a thing, if I made them all myself, I don't think there really would be any difference. It's only because, you know, if you start looking at them. So I mean, I've got no problem with bolt necks. It doesn't make any difference to the way it plays. If anything, I think it might actually be a better system than a through neck. But you get the kudos. Would I swap it? No. Do I tell everyone's up here watching? Oh, great bass! Look, it's a through neck. Look, ho, ho, ho. You know, doesn't make a difference. Idea is, I suppose, the whole neck's sitting on one piece of wood. So the strings are going through, or anchored to the same piece of wood, but the pickups are in, which is the same piece that the strings are on, which is... Rock on!